The phone vibrated in my palm like a trapped insect. Once, twice, then it wouldn't stop. 71 missed calls lit the screen, stacked like accusations. The name at the top pulsed red. Her. I stood on the balcony of my villa in Switzerland. Snow settling softly on glass railings worth more than the car I used to sleep in. The Alps watched me in silence. They didn't judge. They just endured. 3 days earlier, that same woman had laughed over the phone. "If you want to join Thanksgiving," my daughter-in-law had shouted, loud enough for others to hear, "come wash the dishes." A pause. Mockery breathing on the line. I had replied with one word. "Enjoy." No anger, no explanation. I hung up before she could laugh again. Now she was calling like a woman drowning, arms flailing, mouth full of water. I didn't answer. I zoomed in on the photo I'd posted instead. The villa. The floor-to-ceiling windows. The discreet caption, "Grateful." That was all it took. Funny how silence is tolerated when you're broken, but unforgivable when you're no longer small. 6 months earlier, I was disposable. My job disappeared on a Tuesday morning. No scandal. No warning. Just a restructuring. Years compressed into a cardboard box. That evening, my wife sat across from me at the kitchen table. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She slid her ring off, metal clicking softly against wood. "I'm sorry," she said, already standing, "but I cannot drown with you." I watched her finger where the ring had been. Pale, unmarked, like I had never existed. She moved in with her sister, or so she said. Then the calls stopped. Friends grew busy. Invitations dried up. My son stopped answering. I slept in my car. Then I didn't have the car. Homelessness strips you down to bone. It teaches you who was only renting space in your life. It was there on a park bench, winter biting through my coat, that I began to understand something cold and precise. This wasn't abandonment. It was liquidation. I replayed moments I had ignored. The late nights. The sudden secrecy. The way my wife had started dressing for dinners I wasn't invited to. The way my daughter-in-law always asked about my savings, my pension, my backup plans. They weren't cruel. They were efficient. I didn't confront anyone. I learned instead, public records are generous if you know how to ask. So are old colleagues with loose tongues and tighter regrets. My wife's sister's address didn't match the nights she was staying over. Phone records told a cleaner story than people ever do. There was another number, frequent, long calls, always before midnight. A man from her gym, married, wealthy, discreet. I ran the dates against the withdrawal history. Jewelry sold, cash moved. My name still on the accounts. She hadn't just left me. She had prepared. Meanwhile, my son's house told its own quiet tale. My daughter-in-law had renovated. New appliances, new car. All while they struggled, I watched. I waited. I let them believe I was still invisible. Then came the call that changed everything. Not from family, from an old client I had once helped bury a mistake that would have ended him. He owed me. I didn't beg. I didn't explain. I listened. 2 weeks later, I was on a plane. 3 months later, I owned silence in the mountains. I never announced my return to life. I let it leak. I met my wife one last time. Neutral ground. A cafe she thought she owned emotionally. I slid a thin folder across the table. Not dramatic, just facts. Phone logs, bank transfers, a copy of the lease she shared with him. She didn't open it at first. Then she did. Her hands shook. "Just slightly. I can explain," she whispered. I nodded. "I know," I said. "That's why I didn't ask." Her face collapsed inward. The way people do when they realize the room has no exits. Across town, my son received his own email. Subject line, inheritance update. Attachments included proof of financial manipulation, money rerouted, lies signed in ink. No accusations, just documentation. Truth doesn't need tone, it just needs daylight. Thanksgiving came anyway. They posted photos, forced smiles, empty chairs carefully cropped. Then my post went live. The villa, the view, the quiet caption. That's when the calls started. My daughter-in-law cried first. Greed always panics. She offered apologies like bargains. My son sounded confused, then angry, then small. My wife left 12 voicemails, each one softer than the last. I answered none. I sent one message instead. "Do not contact me again. Lawyers will follow." Nothing more. Revenge didn't require shouting or humiliation, just removal. I cut them off from the thing they valued most. Access. Snow fell heavier that night. I poured a drink and watched the lights. Inside my home reflect back at me, warm, untouchable. I thought of the man I had been. The one who begged for understanding. The one who thought loyalty was enough. That man didn't survive. I did. They wanted me small so they could feel safe. They wanted my silence to mean permission. They were wrong. I didn't win them back. I outgrew them. And that is the kind of victory no one ever calls to congratulate you for.